This is Aliens by Electric Dreams on the Commodore 64. Now, this version of Aliens, was the one that was officially released in the UK. And this was the one that I had for a while. I didn't even know the Activision version existed until, as I said in that video, I'm pretty certain that this was included on was included on a cover tape. Now this one, as you can see, is a lot different. This is, rather than take specific moments from the movie, sort of memorable moments from the movie, this actually plays kind of like, in some respects, a first-person shooter. I mean, you pan the camera from left to right. You move forward through doors and back through doors, although you don't have full 3D movement in the environment. But this was really atmospheric, and again, you have simultaneous control over, in this case, 6 characters from the movie. And you can see there's the health meter, which is obviously the jagged line that's cycling down the left-hand side of the portrait. To the right, that's the ammo counter, and the little green bars under the names represent how much energy you have. So the more you move, the more energy you consume. The numbers underneath the names of the characters indicates the room that you're in. Now, one of the tactics I always tried to do with this game was get everybody in the same room, and that made it easier because, like the second level in the Activision Aliens game, you can get attacked by aliens multiple times with different characters. But sometimes it was all too easy to get the characters separated. One would go through a door, then somebody else would get attacked, so you'd jump to that character, and by the end of it, you could easily get disorientated, and that actually happened to me here on this playthrough. And plus the fact, again, as you can see, Hicks's character there was getting tired, so his stamina bar was flashing. So I switched to another one to try to get them to go wherever, and it all quickly went south. Now, I was a huge fan of the Aliens movie when it came out, and I really wanted this game. This, at the time, as far as I was concerned, was the only Aliens game that came out. And I was really excited to play it. I saw some coverage in magazines and what have you. It seemed to get, from what I recall, a relatively okay response. But the idea and the concept of it, I was all over it. But I couldn't find it anywhere. Every time, because where I lived, there was only a handful of stores that sold games locally. And that was W.H. Smith, Boots, which was actually a chemist or a pharmaceutical place. And for some reason, they sold video games at some point, or computer games at some point. And believe it or not, petrol stations over here would actually sell them too, occasionally. But at the time where I lived, W.H. Smith was the place where it had the most games, which, as most people would know, isn't a great thing. There was no dedicated computer stores locally. In fact, the only one I ever remember going into or finding was one that was in Stockport, which was miles away from here. Anyway, so I was looking for this and it was never available. And then one day I was actually in W.H. Smith and it was there. They had it on the shelf of the Commodore 64, and that was it. I had to have it right there and then. And I was so happy to finally get hold of this game that I'd been after for so long. And yeah, I loved playing it. I never had a clue what I was doing. I never finished it. Obviously, I think the idea is to explore around and kill the queen alien, although it would infer that there are more. Incredibly enough, I never got that far. I always used to run out of ammunition. And one of the reasons that that can happen, it's not just the aliens and the facehuggers and the eggs you have to worry about, but also you see that there's like the biomechanoid nest mess thing can grow over the doors on the wall, so you have to blow that away. Now it is possible to replenish ammo. There is an armory, and I do actually stumble across it in this playthrough as I blow an alien up there. But it can be sometimes easy to get lost, and it's the more frantic you get because you're coming under more frequent attack, because there are attack waves. At the moment I'm just on attack wave 1, and there will be more to come. It starts to get more frenetic. The aliens, you can either kill them with one shot to the head while they're walking across the screen, but if you don't do that, they'll turn and they'll come at you. Now if you don't kill them, then the character is killed straight out. If you don't shoot at an alien, it can capture your guy, but if you can get somebody else into that room and shoot the alien, that will rescue the other character as well. So there is a degree of tactics that you have to employ. Sometimes though I did find that the collision detection could be a little bit off, where it's like clearly I shot the thing in the head when it was charging towards me. It's like clearly I shot it in the head there as well, but it didn't register and your character dies, so it can be a little bit frustrating. But there is a tactical element to the game, and as you can see, I mean, I'm trying to get everybody in the same room, and that's what sort of where this gameplay went completely wrong, because as I was trying to do that, I ended up going around in circles and burning up ammunition, and the aliens were coming on the screen, and yeah, it went downhill. I mean, that said, I got a good 25 minutes, half an hour of gameplay out of it, even though I was making a mess of it. And that was a good thing about this. It wasn't one of those games where you're dead within minutes. It was a lot more slow paced, it was a lot more methodical, and it was a greater focus on building atmosphere and tension. Now sound wise, there wasn't a lot. Most of the time it's kind of quiet, apart from when an alien appears and then you get the warning sound, and then you only have so long to deal with the issue before things go badly very, very quickly. And also the sound of the gunfire, but there's very little. I mean, there's no accompanying music or anything like that. And I actually think that the absence of an overbearing soundtrack, or sound just for the sake of it, actually works. It just helps build the atmosphere. There's a quietness, so when the warning thing does go off, I didn't die there, by the way. That was just telling me that attack wave was over. When the warning things do go off, it sort of works. It's more effective because it's piercing the silence rather than just being another noise lost in the whole thing. The other thing you have to be careful of is if an alien is in front of the door, when you shoot them, if you shoot them in the head like that, then invariably they will leave a pool of acid. Now if a pool of acid is in front of a door and you try to move a character through it, your character dies. So you do have to be careful about where you shoot them. See there, Vasquez, that shot clearly went wide of the alien's head while it was charging, and so that's an instant death, like I was describing before. So yeah, I mean, there is plenty to do here, because although it starts out quite slow paced, it ramps up quite quickly. By the end of this video, I was almost getting constantly attacked, and it does get very, very tense. And let's say it it clearly is based on the movies, with the characters and the environment and stuff, but it does take certain liberties. And that's fine as long as it retains the essence. Like I say, the Activision one was very much focused on taking the memorable key scenes from the movie and letting the player play through those scenes. And that's why I think that both the games work very well together, because they kind of complement each other. One's more interpretive, whereas the other one is more direct, but they both work in their own way. Which one did I prefer? I would probably say this one, and the only reason is because I felt this had more atmosphere to it. The other one is more action based, where this one is more more about exploring. And I just for that reason, I think that I preferred this one. Whereas, if I wanted to mow down a load of aliens, I put the Activision one on. Because that level 2 bit, if you get lost in that level 2 bit, that can go on for ages. And you can probably take out as many aliens as there could ever possibly existed in the colony. It just seems that they keep going on and on and on forever. So yeah, this is a game that is well worth checking out. It's kind of funny really, because this type of game, when it came out, no one really paid much attention to, I don't think, to the technology side of it. It isn't, as we would understand, the first-person shooter is today, but on an 8-bit computer back in that time, viewing the game through the eyes of a character in the manner that this was, it was something else. There goes Bishop. And as I say, obviously, Bishop wouldn't get fatigued in the same way that the people do, and he probably wouldn't get attacked in exactly the same way either. Trying to remember the locations of the doors, because the one frustrating element that this can have is obviously the doors look very similar. Well, the doors are identical, and the only way you can really identify which door to go through is to try to remember what was on the wall next to it. Now, if you've got some of the biomechanoid stuff on the wall and you blast that away and there's a door behind it, that's kind of much easier then to remember which door to go through. But in some rooms you can have up to 3 doors and they all look very similar. And in the freneticism of when you're under attack, when things start to escalate, again, it's easy to get lost. So that's why I always try to keep the characters together. Hicks here just got completely lost compared to everyone else. As you can see, he's like Ripley and Gorman are in room 12, Burke's in room 8, and Hicks is in room 64. So my tactic of trying to keep them all together just fell by the wayside. And again, you have to keep your eye on that health, not the health, the stamina meter, because if their stamina runs too low, the moving the target reticule goes a lot slower. If it runs out, you're frozen to the spot, you can't move. And of course that's a huge problem if you then come under attack. So there's a lot of sort of, not resource management, but stamina management in the game as well. So there is, a reasonable degree of depth to just simply moving about. You're not given license to just go charging through doors indefinitely. If there's an alien in the room, you don't have to fight it. You can jump into the door and get into another room. But you do have to be careful, because, like I say, your stamina does go down, and if you're jumping through doors a lot, your stamina decreases. Sometimes you can jump into a room where there's an alien and you barely got the stamina to be able to target it before it attacks you. So yeah, here I managed to get Hicks back into room close to where Ripley and Gorman were. There's the facehugger. But as you can see, his ammo was very low. So I managed to pair off Burke and Hicks. And now I got to the situation where it's okay, where's the door that I need to go through? Because obviously this stuff grows back over and over again. And as I'm about to start attack wave 3, and this is where things do ramp up. So I knew that there's a door in here. There has to be another door in here somewhere, but couldn't find it for some reason. And because I was doing that, I didn't pay attention that an alien had gone into the room. Now, even though Hicks was in that room, because Berg had fired his weapon, the alien attacked him and killed him straight away. Even though Hicks was in there, had he not fired his weapon and been captured, Hicks could have then shot the alien and Burke would have been alright. So now I'm in the real mess here with Hicks, because as you can see, I've got virtually no bullets left, and as I'm going through the doors, there's aliens and I can't get through the right door because the biomechanoid mess is covering up the doors. So my tactic here was essentially to try and get Ripley and Gorman to where Hicks was, and hopefully I could get to him in time, which I did there. And then it was just simply a case of Gorman following suit, not really progressing very much in the game at all. But there's an egg, so you need to take that out before a facehugger attack. So, you know, again, as the attack waves come along, it starts to get quite a bit more frantic, and you do start to get under attack a lot more. So having your characters in separate locations becomes a lot more high risk. Gorman pretty much had full ammunition, so my intention was to use him to try to find where to go. But by this point I'd got completely lost. And yeah, so now Gorman and Hicks were in trouble. And again, as you can see, just got myself turned around because the characters were under attack. So I wanted to try to get into room 13 and was just proceeding to go back and forth. Then Ripley becomes under attack, and then this is how it starts to go. It just starts to go a bit crazy. That's never really a good tactic, by the way, shooting them on the edge of the screen like that. That can result in, if you miss, that they can get you because you can't target them properly like that there, where you have to sort of shoot them in the head as they charge towards you. If you are in that position whereby it's slightly off screen and charging towards you because you don't take it out with the headshot, that can become a real problem. So I got Ripley and Hicks into room 13. Ripley and Gorman into room 13. And then it just became a case of trying to get Hicks in there. She ends up in room 12. So I was just making at this point an absolute cock up of the whole thing. But at the same time, I was still having fun. I got into room 14. I had no plan, by the way, of knowing where I was going with any of this. It was all just a case of just trying to push forward and get as far as I can, take out as many aliens as I can. It literally is, I would say, it's probably been the best part of 30 years since I last played this game, when I was playing it here. So I was trying to go really a lot from just the memory that I had of trying to keep as many people together as possible. And that was about it. I had no idea where I was going. I'm sure playing it more would give me that. But yeah, I was having fun nevertheless. I just about nailed that thing before it got in front of a door, and that would have put acid there, which would have been problematic. Now to switch between the characters, you just press the initial for their name, apart from Bishop, because obviously Ripley, Gorman, Hicks, Vasquez, Burke are all different letters, but Bishop and Burke share the same letter, and so they put that as I, obviously for the second character in on his name. Now in the heat of trying to change things around, sometimes I would accidentally press B, but for Bishop, because his name is the first one that appears. When I went to press B to go to Bishop, but that would take me to Burke, and so you always have to remember that I is for Bishop. I don't know why they selected Burke. I guess it's because they took the some of the remaining characters from the end of the film, towards the end of the film, I suppose. But Hudson would have presented the same problem. But they could have put Drake in instead of Burke, I guess. That would have solved that problem. But yeah, he did go out quite early on in the movie. So yeah, I guess that's why that happened. But yeah, like I say, if you've never checked this out, it is well worth checking out. It's a very, very atmospheric game. Yeah, that was the danger there of shooting off screen. That was how Ripley got taken out. It was a silly tactic, really. Now, obviously, if they charge towards you and they're in front of the door like there, and you kill them, they don't leave any acid on the floor. It's only if you do a headshot as they're walking past the door. So Hicks is in kind of a lot of bother now, because he's got a sliver of ammunition left, and I managed to get him lost again. He went through another door. Now, as he shot that thing, I was kind of lucky, but then attack wave 4 starts. Now there, you see, the acid is on the floor. Now he can't go through that door. At this point, I got Gorman in there, as you can see, but can't get through that door. At this point, it was like, I knew it was over. I knew it was on the rack, because ammunition was very, very low. Now, I did manage to find the armory with Gorman, which you should see here in a minute. And what I should have done was pay attention on how I got there and got Hicks in there. But because I was under attack quite a bit, and I was more concerned about that than anything else, I completely feel like Hicks there is out of ammunition, and that's the part where I was thinking, I really need ammunition. So I obviously can't shoot that thing in the head now, so Gorman has to do it. He's running low on ammunition, and you can see like there's just one alien after another came in there. So was it this playthrough? Yeah, there we go. So Gorman found the armory, which is room 28, but I hadn't really paid attention on how I got in there, and that meant that this became a problem. And I had the feeling that, yeah, because now I'm just trying, this is what happens when you're trying to jump through doors. Every room you go in, there's an alien. I've got no ammunition, and I think I needed it to blast away some of the biomechanoid stuff off the wall. I think the door had become encased behind that, and now Hicks' stamina's going down, but I'm thinking, no, I can get there, I can do it. I was still under the illusion that I could actually get in there, and now you see he's frozen because his energy level ran out. Then Gorman came under attack, and yeah, at this point it had all gone wrong. So yeah, Hicks again, because he jumped through the door, he's frozen. That's the reticule, he's moving really slow. It doesn't matter anyway because I didn't have any ammo. And then he gets caught. Notice he's not dead, he's just been caught. So the thing to do here would have been to have got Gorman there, and that was an example. I thought I nailed that thing, but it didn't seem to register. And then, of course, I've got no one to rescue Hicks, so you switch to him, and you just have to wait then for that to happen. And that was it, game over. So, that was Aliens by Electric Dreams on the Commodore 64. It's well worth checking out. It's a very atmospheric game, and thanks for watching.